I honestly don't think our legislature is qualified to make this type of an assessment. I've spoken, testified down there, and we have family law attorneys making family law, and that's a conflict of interest right there, forbidden according to our Texas Constitution, Article 3, Section 22, because they could profit from the laws, the statutes that they're creating. If they know that it's going to lead to more contentiousness, more additional fees for them, that's the appearance of impropriety. That's an appearance of a conflict of interest. So from my perspective, there are 3 members on the Juvenile Justice and Family Issues Committee that should not even be able to vote, and yet they're sitting there and they're just delaying legislation. They're basically running traps for the family law industry. And I look at the whole thing about the family law industry versus families. The family law industry, they have a tool called a hammer. And a hammer is not a healing thing in many instances. And I know, look, you've been a very successful family law attorney, and so, I mean, maybe I'm going to ask some questions that you're going to say, like, man, don't ask these questions. But I'll be honest with you. I think that family law, family attorney fees should be capped. I think that in any situations where attorneys are running up fees intentionally, that the judge should be in there and say, give proof of your fees. I think that every family law attorney should be in there and swear under oath that these fees are accurate. And then, like Jesse Navarro said in Tarrant County, he said he had a guy that came in, an attorney was charging $80,000, and Jesse said, I don't believe you did that work, $5,000 is what you get. And so, I mean, I don't necessarily like the family law industry. In fact, I don't like it at all.
Well, you got that message for sure.
but I mean, you know, so the thing is about the Texas Family Code. I call it the Texas Anti-Family Code because it destroys families. And I understand as a judge, you have certain things you have to go by. You know, I'm not really sure where this is going. I probably got off too much on a track right now. But I guess what I want to know, are you for the families or are you for the code?
I'm for the families.
Okay.
I'm going to follow the code. I'm going to follow the law.
Okay, so let me ask another question then.
I'm for the family.
Right. Section 6.001 lists insupportability as a cause of divorce. What type of proof do you need to give a divorce based on insupportability?
That's the don't like each other provision.
Well, that's a lying statute. Number one, nobody knows what insupportability means. Nobody knows what the legitimate ends of the marriage are. This is a religious liberty issue. So I would say that, hey, if I were in the court, if I were a judge, and this is me speaking, under the guise of the Texas Family Code, prove to me insupportability. What steps have you taken for reconciliation? I'm for families. And many marriages that get divorced, they could have worked things out. And that's much better for the children.
It sure is.
And anyway, like I said, so I understand you're constrained by the Texas Family Code. I think that there's some latitude in there. I think you can order couples to counseling. And that's your job if the marriage can be reconcilable. And in fact, that's your duty. And they're not even supposed to even request it. If you think so, you can order that, and you should. So that's what I'm talking about being for families a little bit too. Now, maybe that's going too far, and maybe I'm going to have to.
Well, you touched on some points, and if we were to thoroughly discuss them, we need a couple of chairs to sit down with. Okay?
I got you. Well, we'll do that after your election.
There are many facets to what you just touched on.
Right.
Okay. There's a lot of different moving parts in that.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying. It's horrendous destruction for parties to have to go through a divorce situation.
Absolutely.
Even if they don't have children.
Right.
Okay. And if you have the children, it
takes it to a different level.
It's at another level.
Right.
All right. It's at a whole other level. And if and I'm going to enforce this with an iron hand.
Okay.
If there's any involvement of the children in the divorce process, other than being named on a pleading, okay?
Yeah.
We're going to address that.
Yeah.
You don't use children as couriers. You don't hand children pleadings. You don't interrupt the other parent's times of possession.
Yeah.
You don't make promises of taking a child on a trip, but I'm sorry, it's in the other person's period of possession, so
Yeah.
we can't go.
Yeah.
You don't start using,
You don't alienate children from the other parent.
you don't start working on passive aggressive situations. You got to
Right.
remember that child is made from both parents.
Right.
So when you're disparaging that other parent,
Yes.
or allowing your brother to do so, or your friend to do so, or
Right.
you're having a conversation in the kitchen
Right.
where the child can overhear it,
Yeah.
you're really hurting that child. You're destroying the adult we're trying to get grown.
Right.
See?
Right. There are many ways you can destroy children before they reach adulthood, like what you're saying right there. But even normal families have these struggles.
They do, absolutely. All
So-
families do.
So is it discriminatory to just make an order for divorcing families and not intact families? I'm just going to ask you the
Well,
question.
that's part of our real world situation.
Right.